He was thunder in silence, a lion that knelt.
All right.
Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you. So we'll just jump into it. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So with me today is my dear friend Sam. We met on an incredible journey. It was almost like it happened all of a sudden for me,
Yeah.
right? I don't know how it occurred for you. You can also share. But essentially, we signed up for Vipassana. I had signed up for Vipassana a day prior to the actual event. And once I signed up, I was questioning whether or not I should go. And not a couple of hours even passed, and I got an email saying that there's someone that wants to share a ride. That was you.
Yeah.
And then I said, sure. And there was no backing out after that. So I have Sam to thank for that, because not only was I not going to go, I was doubting it, and I have canceled it before. But even on the way back, both of us at certain points of the retreat were looking to quit. I know I was.
Yeah.
And I was thinking in the back of my mind, I have to give Sam a ride back. So I have to be here.
You
at
had
least.
to stay.
Yeah, I had to stay. So I have you to thank for going there. I have you to thank for helping me stay there. And that's how we met. Ladies and gentlemen, Sam is an incredible human being that's been through an amazing journey. I'll let him introduce himself. He could do it better than I can. I read your bio. I was like, wow. I was looking forward to it because, in a sense, it's a transition point for
Yeah.
you. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
And yet it's a super inspiring transition point from my perspective, and I'm sure a lot of others that will watch this and hear your story will be inspired, will be moved, may have tons of questions about why would you do that. We'll get into all of that.
Yeah.
You want to introduce yourself a little
Yeah.
bit?
Thank you, Ali.
Yeah.
Thank you. So first of all, pleasure being here. Pleasure having shared this ride unexpectedly and turning out to be a strong friendship and a podcast at the end of the day. So my background is, first of all, I'm a husband. Today is my 26th anniversary.
Mabruk,
26 years.
congratulations.
Yeah. 26
Wow.
years, long years, but
26
beautiful
years.
ones.
My God.
I have 3 kids, 23, 19, and soon to be 18.
MashaAllah, beautiful.
My 23-year-old, she is in Amsterdam. She started yesterday her first day
Wow.
of internship
Okay.
at a human rights NGO,
Wonderful.
a WordPress organization, which is, heartwarming. It's a beautiful thing to be witnessing my daughter blossoming and starting work, and it's just amazing. My second daughter is studying business and fashion at Marangoni in Paris. And my third son, my third kid, he's starting right now in Amsterdam economics at University of Amsterdam. So couldn't be more grateful, couldn't be happier from a family perspective. From a business perspective, I started in CPG. I started with
For those
Procter
that don't know
Gamble.
what CPG is.
Consumer goods.
Very good. Okay.
So I started in consumer goods with Procter & Gamble, then moved to Group Bell, then Mars, and ended up the last 10 years of my career with Hershey's chocolate. It's an American-based, not so big in the Middle East and Europe, but huge in North America.
Yeah. What were you doing with Hershey's?
So I started off in Dubai. I was the GM, the general manager for Europe, Middle East, and Africa.
Wow.
Then I was promoted to VP as vice president, head of Mexico operation. We had like 2,500 people with 2 plants, huge business, 3 times bigger than Dubai. Then I
Wow.
was promoted to the biggest market in international, Canada, which is a $1 billion operation.
Wow.
Very, very mature, very sophisticated, and 3 times bigger than Mexico. So from Dubai to
Wow.
Mexico to Canada, things were growing and things were shaping up in a beautiful way. And the next step was going to the US, to the main office. I was offered the position of the possibility to have head of Walmart, which is 30%
God,
of
wow.
total business. And I was in the succession planning to be one of the options for head of Hershey's overall. And that was overwhelmingly great, but it drove a huge question in me, which is, do I want this? Is this what I want? Is this what I want to continue doing? Is this what brings me real happiness? And I was talking about being grateful from a family perspective, I felt that from a work perspective, even though I've been growing in the hierarchy of the echelon of C-suite, I felt that another promotion is not going to add much to me at a personal level. And during COVID, a lot of changes, and we can talk more about that. But yeah, the transformation started happening, and I decided to take a sabbatical year. I took 1 year off. I called my direct, the president of International. I called and I told him I need a sabbatical leave.
Wow.
And if you cannot provide me with one, I would understand. I totally understand. I would resign.
Wow.
And he said, hey, we support you, take this year, and we're waiting for you. 1 year later, I was ready to come back, but came back for 2 days. And after the second day, I was in a meeting, and there was the whole team, and I looked at myself and I said, nope, nope, doesn't feel right. That's not what I want to continue doing. That's not what's driving me to wake up out of bed. And I'm not saying every executive should wake up one day and say, enough with work, and that's not what I want to do, and find an existential crisis to meet, to match. But it was a big awakening moment for me where I said, you know, I want to do different things. I want to enjoy life more. I want to be present more. I want to help people around me and grow with them. And I felt this crisis is turning into a blessing. So I started looking at it from a different perspective, rather than, oh shit, what's happening to me? Rather that, wow, there are so many other possibilities and so many things that I can start venturing into without closing the tap. So I continue to do consultancy as a freelance to keep the money going, but that's not the main thing that I do. What I'm doing is helping people, whether executive or individuals or companies, look at their core purpose and see how can they make the journey more pleasant for themselves and for their consumer.
Why do you feel that's so important now more than ever?
I mean, with everything that's changing in the world, people are looking for, I mean, the word purpose has been overused. And I don't like to think that we need to find our purpose. That's not how I think about it. It's more about enjoying what you're doing, right? It's more than the purpose. Enjoying what you're doing and reaching that level where you're growing and giving back. And these two go hand in hand. As long as you are growing, you continue growing, because the moment you stop growing, you'll be moving backwards and you will be stuck, and that doesn't feel right. You need to continue growing, whether in learning, whether in business, whether in whatever it is you're doing. Growth is a major component of happiness. As long as you're growing and you feel you're contributing to other people's lives and supporting them, then this is somehow a definition of happiness.
Very nice. And what is your hope for people that are listening to this? Who do you feel is your audience?
So I think obviously any executive or someone in the business world would be drawn to listen at the way I was thinking about it, because it's an unconventional way of approaching it. I mean, at one point in time I said, can I curse here? Can I say fuck
please,
it all?
yes.
So fuck it all.
Please do. It's good for engagement.
Right? I mean, fuck it all. That's not what I want to do, and I want to spend time doing things for myself.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, and I started doing tattoo that talks to me, and this tattoo is a reminder, is a daily reminder that, you know, live life to the full.
Yes.
And
so just for the viewers' benefit, because they don't know what your tattoo says, maybe describe it a little bit, and then what is the meaning behind, what is it, and what is the meaning behind it, if you don't mind.
So it's a repetition of 3 letters, LTZ, LTZ. And in Arabic, in colloquial Lebanese, we say latizi. Latizi is, I mean, fuck it all is one way.
Okay.
Another way is I don't care about people's judgment, right?
Nice.
And the reminder that I have every day is that I'm doing things that I want to do,
Yes.
that I enjoy, and I don't care what people think.
Right.
It's not, I'm no longer doing things for people's approval or people's appreciation.
Yes.
I read a quote one day that stuck with me, and I stopped and said, I've been looking at it the wrong way, which says, don't climb mountains for people to see you. Climb them for you to see the world.
Wow.
And
Say that once more. That was
yeah,
beautiful.
I mean, don't climb mountains for the world to see you.
Yes.
Climb them to see the world.
Yes. Wow.
And
Beautiful.
I've been growing in my career, and I've done quite well. I'm happy. I'm proud. But then I felt that I've been chasing the wrong motivation. The motivation for a long time has been certainty and significance. And in certainty, I mean the paycheck, the money, the security, and in the significance, I mean my ego, my business card, the car, the watch, and all the things that eventually became nonsense. And where until Dubai, which is not so long ago, 2016, until Dubai, they were the most important things for me. I mean, the sports car and the outfit and the watch and all of this were the most important things. I mean, where we're going, what we're doing, how we're going to spend that vacation were really the most important things. And then you find out that, damn, I mean, during COVID, I lost two of my dearest people, my closest friend who is like a brother to me, and my brother-in-law who represents a fatherly figure. And all of a sudden the certainty became questioned, and there is no certainty.
Right.
I mean, we have to embrace the fact that if we think that we are controlling everything around us to create certainty, things can change in a heartbeat.
Yes.
And we think that we are creating certainty by controlling things, by controlling our partner, by controlling everything around us. But at the end of the day, if we embrace the uncertainty and embrace the possibilities, then we would be enjoying ourselves much more and really looking at life in a fun way, rather than in a box.
So someone listening to this who's an executive might say, hey, Sam, easy for you to say because you're no longer part of that system. But for someone who's, in the executive life at the moment, and someone who's listening to this is wondering to themselves, how can I find that balance? How can I find that peace in what I'm doing when all around me it's all about the hustle, it's all about the growth, it's all about reaching for more? What advice would you give them?
Wonderful question. I think, first of all, the biggest question is, why are we doing whatever we're doing? It starts, Simon Sinek said it all starts with the why, and I couldn't agree more. Why are we doing this? If you're doing it because of more money and fame or whatever things that are external, material, capitalist, then ask yourself, is this really what you want? Does this help you grow, right? I mean, we talked about growth and giving back, and these are the two purest things that you can do that drives your own happiness. That's a very selfish thing. Right. When you're giving back, it's a selfish thing. How crazy is that? So first of all, why are you doing this? Am I doing it because I want to make the people around me happier and myself happier? Then great, keep doing it. Look at the balance. Look at ways to enjoy what you're doing rather than focus on the outcome. The objective is not the most important. It is the path, the journey. I mean, this is so cliche, we've heard it a million times. Enjoy the journey, not the purpose, not the objective, not the outcome, but it's so true.
Right.
I mean, the more we get focused on, this is what I want, and if it doesn't happen, then I will be miserable. The mind is so bad in assessing what makes us happy and what makes us miserable. The mind is really bad at that.
Right.
I mean, we've seen so many studies and research that talk about people who've had terminal illness, and they go through Islam and then go back to their level of happiness. People who have won the lottery, who surge in terms of happiness and go back to the normal happiness level. It's not about the external. Anytime, this is something that I've realized and I've read, anytime there's an if statement in your happiness formula, if I get married, if I have more money, if I do this, if I do that, anytime there's an if statement, that will not drive happiness.
Wow.
So whatever is making us happy, it has to come from inside. So going back to your question, I think that one, ask yourself why. Why am I doing that? Have a balance between the important stuff that I'm doing for money, to make a living. Yes, it is extremely important, but also to be fulfilled and happy and create that balance and equanimity in your life. And I have a trick here. I think one thing that has always helped me, and I still do, is something I call JRV. JRV is journal every day, reflect after each experience. Because what grows us is not the experience itself. You can go through many experiences and not learn from them. It's the reflection that allows you to learn. So reflect, and the last one is visualize. What do you want to do?
Beautiful.
Manifest. So JRV is for me a key way to continuously focus on what matters, journal, make your mind work for you. I mean, ask yourself the right questions.
Beautiful. Wow.
Yeah.
You just gave a master class in like 10 minutes. That was beautiful. So you know what I love about talking to you, Sam, is that every time I talk with you, there's something new in terms of pearls of wisdom that you share, whether it's about business, whether it's about a balanced lifestyle, whether it's about family. And I got to personally witness how you relate to your family, and I have to say, it's very beautiful. The tenderness with which you speak to each other, and the way that you and your wife speak to each other and the children is a great example of what's possible. Because I can imagine, I remember when I was in the business world, heavy into it, there were so many times it was really hard for me to keep my peace. And whenever I felt stressed at work, at many times I would bring that home. As much as I don't want to admit that. And I'm sure there's people that are listening to this that also might wonder, like, how can you be that? Is that just your personality? Were you always like this? Or is this a conscious choice that you're making when speaking to your family?
It's an absolutely conscious choice. And absolutely, because I did not know better. I did not know a different way. Meaning, as a kid, I did not experience real love from my dad. And I'm not here on a pity party, so it's not about that. I'm saying this is a fact, right? So there was a respectful relationship, a good relationship. It was not a torn childhood, but at the end of the day, there was no communication. And for the first few years, specifically of my son's life, I mean, with my two daughters, I have the affection, the love. I was always there to give them, to nurture. With my son, it was like, how do I do this? I mean, nobody gave me a manual for a fatherhood.
Oh, you too?
And,
you didn't have a
right?
manual?
And what do I do with that? I mean, I have a son who's growing, and he looks up at me, and he wants a role model. And what if I say something wrong? What if I do something wrong? How do I do this?
Right.
And that was overwhelming.
Right.
And the first reaction was distance. The first reaction was, oh, I don't know how to do this, so I'm not going to venture. And then the idea of intentionality came in. So I want to be closer to him. I want to listen to what he wants to say. I want to know what is on his mind. I want to be part of his life. And all of a sudden, the relationship started merging into a beautiful connection. And today we are buddies. I love that. He's 17 years old. He's going to Amsterdam to live on his own. And I wish I could be in his place.
Right.
I mean, he's
Me
living
too.
the life.
We all do. Not a bad place to be at that age, right? To be discovering the world and being in such a free society.
Absolutely. And same applies to my wife. I think that marriage is a choice. The moment that we feel that marriage is an obligation, then it becomes haunting.
Right.
I think as long as we are there by choice, and we are also nurturing that relationship through communication and through continuous, I feel that compromise is an important thing. Not compromise in the negative sense, without the negative connotation. Compromise meaning meeting the other partner halfway. It's not always my way or the highway. Sometimes I go with her way, and sometimes she goes with my way,
Right.
depending on the topic and depending on.
Have
the
you
importance.
always known this throughout your relationship with your wife, or at what point did you have like that inflection point where you're like, okay, I need to change?
I don't think there was an inflection point, but there was an evolution.
Okay.
Like my wife Rita was a pain in the ass in the fact that she never wanted us to sleep angry, and that never happened. And that
Wow, I was
is a
gonna
pain
say,
in the ass.
Such a bitch. I'm sorry. Sorry if you're
Absolutely.
listening, Rita. You know I love you.
Absolutely. But you know what? It worked.
Yeah.
So
I think that's so beautiful, though.
Yeah, we
Because some people never
ever-
wake up.
And I think it makes so much
Yeah.
difference when you wake up on, and already when you wake up on your left foot,
Right.
you feel the day is going bad. What if
Absolutely.
you slept on your wrong foot and you wake up on the same
Right.
foot and you continue with that foot?
Right.
That foot gets swollen. So it's,
Yeah.
and I think that was unintentional, but it really helped us a lot.
That's got to be a quote in your book, by the way. The foot that gets swollen. I have a picture of a giant foot swollen. I love this. Sam, every time I speak to you, it's just, I get like new insights. And it's interesting because for myself, relating to the business world, I've had business coaches for at least 15 years of my career. I paid top dollar to hire the best coaches and to learn from them. And when I listen to you, whether it's on our ride to Vipassana, whether we're taking a stroll, I always feel like I learned something that's super valuable. And I want to say thank you to that. And those that are listening, if you have a chance, get in contact with Sam, because he is a very rare human being that's walked the path. And, you know, for the image that comes to mind, and not to say that you're the enlightened one, but like Buddha, right? Buddha was a prince, and he left his kingdom to go and search for why people are suffering, and then eventually reach enlightenment. And when I see you, I see someone who has walked the path of being an executive, who's walked the path of having it all from the world's perspective, you know, having the cars, having the drivers, having the, you know, the international job, you know, being able to provide for your family in a big way, that I think a lot of people could only dream of. And yet you walked away from all that, and you come out with all this wisdom and all these, teachings that I feel like not just executives, but even people that are looking to grow can benefit from, because whatever you guys are listing here is just a tip of the iceberg, because hopefully we'll do another one, at least one more, where we can go into your own journey of, how you went through healing and how you what you're looking to do now in terms of helping others heal.
Yeah.
I think that is really beautiful, that it will tie in nicely into why you have a unique position to help not just executives, but anyone that can relate to you and your story. Because sometimes in life you need a coach, you need a mentor, you need a guru, whatever you want to call it, someone to kind of hold your hand and say, look, I believe in you, I've been where you are, and hang in there, it's going to get better, and let me guide you so that you don't make the same stupid mistakes we made. You know what I mean?
So true, absolutely. Yeah, two things. One, really appreciate your message, your warm and kind words. I feel flattered, it's humbling. As we grow, we always ask ourselves the question if we are enough. And I always felt I need to fill in bigger shoes. In every promotion, I would be shitting bricks and saying, how can I fill in this huge promotion? And every time you stretch yourself and you deliver, and sometimes you over-deliver. So I feel humbled by what you're saying. I really thank you and appreciate that. The second thing, please keep in mind that I'm not coming from a place of privilege. So I'm a pure self-made man, where I come from extremely humble backgrounds, and by extremely means poverty.
Wow.
I'm originally Lebanese, grew up in Lebanon during the war, had a very tough childhood in terms of not having friends and not having the ability or means to go out and see friends, and that has shaped me. And I'm very grateful for that. But what I want to make sure that you and other people would know is that I did not take any decision recent decision from a base of privilege where I'm a spoiled brat, or I was given a silver spoon, and this is so cool, and it's okay not to have money. No, it's not okay not to have money. I mean, I know what it means not to have money. But at one point in time, you can always adjust your lifestyle, and depending on what you want and what's important for you, you will find a means. There is always a way, and I think that the power of choice is when we ask ourselves, what do we really want to do? Then the question of how becomes secondary. But what and why comes first. What do I want to do? What brings me pleasure? What really allow me to wake up in the morning and say, this is what I want to do? Then the rest follow. But yeah, I wanted to comment these two.
Nice.
You're not lost, you're right on time. Walk slow, Jano. Where you go, the love will grow. No need to run, you're in the flow. One with the stars, one with the soul.